Om Shri Sai Ram. Good evening. Wishing everybody a very happy Vinayaka Ganesha Chaturthi. I hope everybody is doing well. So today, uh, I want to talk to you about how perception shapes our reality. And what we talk about today is the deepest truth of our existence. Though we've covered this in the Atma Chalisa, but today I'd like to take you into the journey of our existence. So, if you were to just learn from your own life and not go by any religion, any religious texts, any teachers, any masters, any gurus, and if we were to simply learn from our own life, and we are talking about it because we've just celebrated 2 days back the Teachers' Day. Today we are celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi, which is the celebration of Ganesha's presence in our lives and what Ganesha means for us, what Ganesha signifies. So, when we are and we keep celebrating some festival or the other, honoring some aspect of godhood. So, what is it really? What is it that we're trying to do? Who are we? And what is this life all about? So, I am taking a step back today to go deeper into the aspect of what is life. So, we've spoken many times that behind everything is just an intelligent source of energy, which we call as the consciousness. Okay, uh, it is it's an energy because it is constantly creating something, and it can be experienced, it can be felt by the five senses. It is a if you look at it from a point of view that it is supremely intelligent, because whatever man has achieved today, whatever progress we have achieved, has been what we call as scientific, is based on an intelligence. We call it the human intelligence. But what about the intelligence which created the cosmos, the planets, the universes, the sun, the moon, the earth, and all the other planets? What about that intelligence that created the five elements, the sky or the space, the air, the fire, the water, and the earth? What about that which created masculine and feminine, the yin and the yang? What about that intelligence that created the different beings on this planet? What about that intelligence that created men and women to look so different, and that while living on the same planet, we speak hundreds and thousands of languages, right? And we've created so many different cultural practices, so many different types of foods that we eat, so many different types of clothes we wear, so many types of cultural sensitivities and nuances that make us distinct and separate and different, that created so many different animals and animal types, so many different types of vegetations that exist so beautifully together, and they thrive based on the climate that is there. We see that there are places on the planet which has sub-zero temperatures, and then there are Saharan temperatures which is extremely hot. Look at the diversity. Look at what has created a desert on the one hand and oceans and waters on the other hand. So, very clearly, we can see that not only there is a human intelligence which has brought us to an artificial intelligence today, and we've made so much of advancement using a human capability or human intelligence, but there is also another type of an intelligence which has created the framework in which all this so-called progress or development is taking place. Yeah. And if you look at it, that this human progress that we have done or we've achieved is still not ensured that all of us are happy. We're still fighting, we're still trying to kill each other. Look at the climate, what human intelligence has done to us. It has brought us to a brink where we can all see the signs. I don't have to spell it out. We know what's going on. This is what human intelligence has done. But there is another intelligence which we spoke about, which has created everything around us. And if you see that in the end, this everything around us is going to survive us because it knows how to rebalance itself. It has existed for millions and millions of years. We come with a very short span in a human body, this limited intelligence, and it comes and goes. It's like a blip on the radar. One minute it is there and the other minute it's out, right? And and our whole struggle is that in that one little blip, whereas this intelligence, this consciousness, this supreme consciousness which is around us in the form of, right now we are breathing in some air, we may be sitting in our homes, but actually we are under the sky. We're sitting on a planet, it's on the earth, right? Water is in our body because 70% of our human bodies is water, and and everything is functioning. All these lights that we have, and all the light inside of us, the energy inside of us is all heat. So all the five elements are at play at this point of time, right now here. Even if one was to stop, within 2 minutes we'd die. Just imagine if air would stop and the oxygen would go away. So look at this, that there is an intelligence, and it is in energetic form, and that intelligence in a limited form, and that energy is also inside each of our bodies, the human body, the animal body, the plant body. So it's just that it is the same thing, but we are seeing it differently. So what is it that makes us see things differently and call it by different names? We have a a faculty which we call as the faculty of perception. So we perceive things differently. We, all of us, though we are interacting with the same universal intelligence, we are breathing the same air, we are drinking the similar water, but yet our perceptions are different. And actually, this whole world is a projection of this perception. And that is what I want to bring home today. And I want you to participate in this conversation, not just merely listen to what I'm saying. I want you to tell me, I want you to think as I speak, and I want you to come out with what are your views about it. So we're constantly interacting with the other beings, human or otherwise, and we are interacting with the five elements, and we are interacting with this supremely intelligent source of knowledge, which seem to be able to know things and fix things around us. And yet, two of us don't see the things in the same way. Why? Because we have a filter inside of us, and that's called the filter of perception. And that filter of perception keeps calling people as good and bad, as intelligent or dumb, stupid or intelligent, loving or angry, right? Selfish or selfless, and so on. We're constantly perceiving people. Similarly, we are perceiving the animals, we are perceiving people within our society, we are perceiving people of different religions, we are perceiving people of different countries, and and so on. We're constantly creating a world around us based on our perception. And we are somehow so deeply entrenched in that perception that we are fully caught up, and we are a prisoner of our perception. And that is what is called, in our Vedas, we say that this world is actually a world of perceived reality. It's a it's a mithya. Jagat is a mithya. That we are seeing it. What it means is that we are actually seeing it, we are actually experiencing it, but we are experiencing it based on our filters, based on our perception, and we've created this world around us. And each one of us, even though husband and wife living together in the same house, under the same roof, eating the same food, interacting with the same five elements, have their own worlds. One runs outside, one goes inside. One fights and shouts, the other is calm and composed. One likes to talk, the other likes to be silent. One likes to blame, the other likes to just become silent. And we all believe that our world is the correct world, and the others don't know. So this is that perception of ours which keeps continuously shifting. It doesn't remain the same. Look back at your life. I said we will learn from our own lives. Look back at your life. Look back at how you were 10 years back, or 5 years back, or 2 years back, and look at how we used to react to certain situations and certain peoples at certain times. Right? There's people who we really loved and adored, and who were very close to, but something happens in some time, and we no longer like them, or there is a challenge that comes up. What is that? What has changed? There is a change that happens constantly. A perception keeps changing. right? Some things that we could not tolerate a few years back, are now we are comfortable with it. What happens? Why is it that something that we used to abhor, and now, because we are using the inner path, we are starting to accept? So, this journey of life is a journey of acceptance. All our struggles and all our challenges and all our perceived problems are based on our lack of acceptance. I see so many of you and I talk to so many of you on a day to day basis. One moment you are on a high, one moment you are in the flow, and that next very instant, something comes up, some suggestion comes up, which we are not in acceptance of. And what happens? We go into a turmoil, we go into anxiety, we go into stress. We start creating problems when none exist at all. It's our perception that makes us feel comfortable. It's our perception that makes us feel itchy, scratchy, you know, a problem in our throat, our, challenges with our posture, all discomforts and everything start to manifest themselves when there is a lack of acceptance in any area of our life. And it is this acceptance and lack of acceptance which continuously keeps changing our perception about life and people. What we what we dislike with the people we live in gives us unhappiness because we do not accept it, we struggle with it, we find faults with it, and therefore we are unhappy. But the instant you accept it, remember the cup of happiness, unconditional acceptance. The minute you accept people for who they are, suddenly there is a load that gets lifted from our chest. And suddenly the blame game ends. And suddenly that same set of people with the same set of qualities, we are able to tolerate and we are able to agree with and we are able to live with them. Right? So constantly perception is shifting because our level of acceptance changes. This world as we live in is a world which is either the cause of great joy or a cause of great suffering, depending upon what's your perception about this world. If everything is going wrong in this world, if everything you think is, falling off into pieces, then of course life can be very unhappy for us. But if our perception is that I'm experiencing this great joy and I'm experiencing this great presence, an energetic presence within me, that just by thinking of it lifts me into a state of joy that I've never experienced before. No matter what's happening outside, for us, the world is the most beautiful place. For us, we are lucky to be born now. For us, it is the most important time of transition of human consciousness at this moment. But you turn it around, if you come from the other side, I hear people say, I wish I wasn't born. I I hear both sides of the story. And so therefore, I want you to know and I want you to go back to your own source. Because What can release you from this pangs of suffering, pain, and these bouts of joy that comes in between, because they are not constant, is that if we trace back our source. So just imagine so many of us on the call, and each of us trace back ourselves from right now where you are sitting in your homes, with the bodies that you have, with the clothes that you're wearing, right? If you were to start going inside and go beyond this body that you're carrying, right? And if you just right now were to drop your body and just to experience that who are you really? And the minute if you were to drop this body and then you were to drop your mind, what remains? There remains a sense of beingness. There is remains a sense of awareness. And when the mind is absent, only that remains is awareness. And this awareness is that supreme intelligence. This awareness we lose when our mind becomes active, and when our mind starts to take us away into its perceived world of the projection it is created. So, all that you are seeing, all that you are experiencing is a projection of your mind. Mind is like a big projector, and it is on the screen of your senses of perception. It keeps projecting, and we keep picking up, and we keep reacting based on what it is projecting. Happy things it projects, we start dancing and we start singing. It projects something not so nice that irritates us or bothers us, we start getting into bouts of anxiety, stress, anger. And that is what is happening with us. So, in reality, there is none of us, while we are present, none of us, in terms of our combined intelligence, use, is of any use to this whole principle that we have come to experience. This mind may be very sharp and may be very, it may have achieved a lot, but it's still very limited. It's just one billionth of a fraction of what this supreme intelligence is about, which we can experience when we withdraw our limited mind, go back into the source of who we truly are, and for some time we suspend this limited mind so that we can get connected to the universal source. And the answer of our own liberation, and the answer to all the problems that are besetting the world today, lies in this understanding, lies in this experience. And once this experience comes, all problems of this universe will get sorted out, which in any case, we're moving to a time where it's going to get sorted out. Because this reality, this perceived reality has to move away, and we should be able to see reality for what it is. That Brahman, that Brahm, which is Satyam, this supreme intelligence, which is the truth, has to reveal itself and we have to experience it. And this limited consciousness, this limited intelligence, this limited mind, which has brought us to the brink of destruction and to such sadness, has to just disappear. And we are all a step away from experiencing that. How can we experience it? Only first that we realize that what we are experiencing today is a projection, is a perception, and everybody's perceiving differently. And so if every time an opinion or a perception comes to us, if we were to pause, look at it, and watch it and freeze it and say, hold on, am I projecting something? Is it real? Is this who I am truly? Or am I continuously reacting to situations and events that are happening in my life? Because if we keep reacting, then that's what we've done most of our lives. We've been reacting. Today something happens, we react to it. Tomorrow something happens, we react to it. And our life is a series of reactions. But instead, if we choose to respond, instead, if we go and get connected back to our source, and we let go, and we and for letting go, we need to first accept. If we accept that there is a supreme intelligence which is in charge of everything, and I am nothing but a instrument of that supreme intelligence. And if I offer my limited intellect, my limited mind, my limited ego to this larger intelligence, just imagine what we have available to us, what we can tap into is infinite. And what do we choose to operate instead in is the finite, is the ego. But if we were to step back, merge into the infinite, and tap into the infinite source, which is who we truly are, disconnect from our me, my, mine, thine, and get connected to the universal. Just imagine the release it brings to us. Imagine the power it brings to us, and how empowered we feel, and how much we can experience beyond what we are experiencing today is a choice available to us, is an experience that is available to us. But for that, we have to go beyond all the ideas of goodness and and bad. This idea of form, of running after forms, running after, even the good forms. Look at Ganesha, for example. We've created a form, we've created an understanding that there is a god which has the head of an elephant, right? Which has a pretty, actually cute, odd looking body, and yet is the principle of supreme intelligence, remover of all obstacles, right? And since that's the perception that has been created, and that everybody is full of knowledge, everybody prays to it. Actually, everybody, because we pray to it, because we believe in it, therefore we start to, receive that. That's actually how it comes back to us. We say Christ is the messenger of love. So whenever we, pray truly to Christ, we start experiencing love. Whoever in India, the whole idea of, you know, 330 million gods and goddesses, the idea was this, that each one of us is different and unique, and each one of us has a divinity inside of us, and that if you believe that there is a divinity and you believe it completely, you will start experiencing divinity. That's why we say, and I remember the talks that I've given where I used to say that, for the next 1 year, just keep saying, I'm God, I'm God, I'm God. And you believe in it, not just say, chant. We just chant. But you believe in it that you're God. I can tell you within 2 months, you will start acting like God. So It starts with our belief, it starts with our perception, it starts with this, because we believe Ganesha to be what is being projected, and because we sincerely pray to that Ganesha, the remover of all obstacles, we don't start anything without, chanting the name of Ganesha, and we propitiate to that Ganesha. We believe that Ganesha bestows on us all that we are asking for. We are willing to believe on this, on all the stories created on external forms. We believe in every story of every god, in every religion. But we don't believe that the same religion, the same text, the same teachers have said that how why don't you believe that all the people who are on the call today and everybody else is part of those 330 million gods and goddesses? How about that? How about Anna Meta being a goddess and believing that she's a goddess and therefore changing her perception around things? Why is it that we are willing to believe what others have said about others, but we are not willing to believe anything about our own selves? And what about those who do not believe in it? Some people who follow, the Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism talk about Ganesha, but those who don't even know who Ganesha is, that means what happens to them? Those who do not, believe in Christianity or who believe in Islam, what happens to them? They believe in something else. Everybody has created something. As long as it's not conflicting, as long as there is a scope for all these gods and goddesses to exist together, it is never a challenge. But the challenge comes when we say my god is bigger than yours and yours cannot exist. That is the only time when challenge comes. Otherwise, this world, we were free to perceive anything we wanted. But now, and that's why it's an evolutionary process. We start with, it's like a kid coming into uh, a beautiful playground and has all the toys in the world. It wants to play with every toy. It goes whichever it likes, it starts to play. And God keeps laughing and saying, okay, come on, let me see. When will the child get tired and exhausted with playing? One day the child gets exhausted, clutches onto that same toy, but falls asleep. And then God comes, takes the toy away, and puts it back. And we wake up and we realize that actually the toy which we had fallen in love with is no more with us. And we keep running after one toy after the other. After some time we get fed up of a toy, we want another one, we want another one, we want another one. It's like this new toy is like a new life, and keep running up, at the world, external world of perceptions. And one day we realize that actually what has made all these toys, there is one common thing which binds all the toys. Let me go and play with that instead of wasting my time with different forms and shapes. And when we go beyond these forms, and when we go beyond our physical countenance, appearances, and we go to that source which is deep within us. And that's why I keep saying the more you run outside, you're not going to get anything at all. That has to be experienced inside. That supreme intelligence has to be experienced inside of us. And it is in every being, it is everywhere. Only humans have been given this ability to go and perceive it. The way we are perceiving things outside, we can also start perceiving there is a beautiful world within each one of us. Most fascinating world. But that needs to be experienced. So, but how will that happen when we'll stop projecting outside? Do you understand? If we keep perceiving everything outside, we will never get time to perceive anything inside. And once we start experiencing inside, the outside will no longer interest us. When you can tap into the infinite at any point of time and take from it all that you need, why would you want to, look at what limited things that your mind has to offer? Just imagine you have our own individual saving bank account somewhere, but you can actually tap into the treasury of the bank where you have your account and you can get whatever you want from there. Why would you want an account in your own name? Just imagine. So, if we stop projecting, if we stop looking at things for what they are, and we start actually focusing all that attention within, we realize that there is only one common source, one source for everything. And that underlying source is called consciousness. And that consciousness is present, can be experienced inside us in an energetic form. That is how the energy rises above. We say it rises from the Kundalini. It's, stored at the bottom of the root chakra or the Mooladhara chakra. And this energy can be experienced moving within us. And it moves through the seven chakras, and once it reaches a Sasra chakra, we are entitled. That is just to tell you that there is an energetic source inside of us. And that energy by itself is not the idea to experience. We have to experience that one consciousness. When the finite becomes infinite, the finite body has to be used to tap into the infinite. That is what is the goal of life. That is what we have come here to experience. That is what will make us start understanding that each one of us belongs to the same universal family. Otherwise, we'll keep fighting. Otherwise, we'll keep finding faults with each other. Otherwise, we'll come, you know, today close to each other and tomorrow we'll run away. Because today we like something, we are getting something. Tomorrow, we will leave the group and we will move somewhere else because it no longer serves our purpose. This whole cycle of like, dislike, coming together, going away, coming together, going away, meeting, separation. There's no end to this. There's no end to this cycle. So what's happening, as a conflict in the world outside is actually happening inside our homes. Is happening inside each one of us. There's a battle is going on inside. And we're constantly engaged in this fight. And going to a physical place doesn't change anything. Going outside to find an answer sadly will not get you anything. You can go, you can experience the energy of a place, you can, experience something, but unless you experience that presence inside of you, and then you can take that which is inside of you everywhere, is what this whole journey is about. You carry with you the bliss. You carry with you the sacredness. You carry with you the piousness. You carry with you all that is auspicious and sacred. We say Ganesha is auspicious. I say all of us are Ganesha. All of us are actually instruments of auspiciousness, sacredness. We should all be worshipped. We should all be prayed to. Today, when you pray to Ganesha, pray to yourself, the Ganesha within you. The whole idea of following a ritual, the whole idea of putting an idol of Ganesha and singing and dancing and putting food around it is not to just make it as an outside merry thing, is to connect to the Ganesha within. Connect to the supreme intelligence, the remover of obstacles inside us. We don't think like that. And the day we think, we start creating a, move away from this external perception and decide to move within. That is the day everything starts to shift for us. And that's the only way this golden age is coming. And that's why we are preparing ourselves. That's why each one of us is moving into that. Because the minute we do this inside, one golden heart, and then two, and then there are many. And then this is how the consciousness is shifting. And it is the time of change of consciousness. But one heart at a time. And then the expansion happens. It starts with arithmetic progression, and then it goes into geometric progression, and then it goes into complete exponential. That's how consciousness and supreme intelligence was brought for the first time on this planet. There was one Jyoti, one Chaitanya, one source of light that came down and inhabited this planet. And slowly it started to expand. It has to happen because, as I keep saying, there are physical laws to be observed. There are laws of this planet. Everything will happen by those laws. And one by one, this love will come. One by one, this understanding of the universal consciousness that is within us. And we acknowledge that that same universal consciousness in everybody around us is when the shift starts. And that's when we start creating different reality. So you will have to let go of every idea, every belief of yours about gods and gurus and of all that you have believed to be true so far. You'll have to for some time let go of every idea, take their message, take their understanding. Now start to declutter yourself from everything and look at it, completely on a brass tack basis. Go bare, go absolutely down to the bone and see what is there actually, what is there inside of me. Because what's inside of you, then remember, is there in everybody. It's in everyone who you're interacting with. That is the truth. And that is the idea of celebrating a Ganesh Chaturthi or any festival or a Christmas. It's not to have a party and give presents and just have a good time and have a good feast. The idea, what's the significance? What's the message? Wear new clothes, eat good food, dance, sing, do all that, but not as an outside, just because everybody is doing it. It should come from within you. The joy should come from the depths of your heart, that you cannot stop yourself from singing and dancing. That reservoir of joy has to be experienced, which has nothing to do with a date or a day. This was just an idea. People were very sad, and they were the whole idea of Ganesh Chaturthi and these, 10, 11 days that are celebrated. The idea was because people had become very antisocial and they were not spending time with each other. They were not celebrating. That's how this whole festival came up. So that every day people would go to each other's house and Ganesha was there and they would, celebrate, sing, dance, eat together. And then it became a big festival. So there is an idea behind it. Each of these gods and goddesses represents an idea, represents an understanding. We forget the understanding, we go for the physical. You get the idea and see that the same idea operates inside of you. Each one of us. We're full of all these ideas. We are actually a mix of Rama, Krishna, Allah, Jesus, Devi, Ganesha, and whoever else, Hanuman, whoever you like. We all the facets of all these gods and goddesses are inside each one of us. And we are that. And that is what liberates us. That's the truth that liberates us. Otherwise, you can keep running. From the next guy, 2 days later, you will be tired of listening to me. You will go to another fellow and say, okay, this guy talks better. But you can do that and get exhausted by that. No end to it. One day you'll have to realize, okay, like the child became tired of playing with the toys. Say no more. And that's the day everything shifts. And and it's just up to us. Which is the day when we decide that's it, enough and no more. And then have the courage to dedicate your life around that reality. Because it's difficult, you know what? I see so many who start. The charm and the lure of the perceived reality is so much that when we start living it, there are others, our family members, and others who will pull us back. And that is when we become faint hearted and we start chickening out. And we start, feeling this unknown fear. And then we say, okay, maybe not. So the, if you are clear and if you're experiencing that joy, then nothing can stop you. And then I can assure you, because of the joy you are experiencing, everybody around you would want to actually experience the joy. And they will come to you and say, what makes you so joyful? Can I also know the secret? So don't be scared. Believe in the power of the divinity that resides in each one of you and experience it first, and then all of your questions and anxieties will just get answered by themselves. Don't try to push your mind and create a certain outcome. That's what mind likes to plan. It likes to create outcomes. There is actually no outcome of joy. Remember, the goal of life is Satchitananda. When you're having Ananda now, the bliss now, what do you want to project and create? What is more to be created? There is nothing called as more joy. Joy is joy. We may use in English terms, joyous, joy, joyful, joyous, those are just English expressions. Joy is joy. Once you got it, in future also you will get joy. So where is the struggle? Joy is should be uninterrupted, should be constant, and should be with us at all times. So happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Happy understanding that we are the godhood that we are looking to celebrate outside, and that if that experience can remain with us, and if that it becomes part of your awareness, then I tell you, no matter what you are involved in, no matter what challenges, let the whole world fall in front of you, nothing can change your joy, because you see everything as, in any case, a mithya, a perceived reality, because the world doesn't exist at all. It's just a perception. And that's why every time we start our satsang, there's one prayer actually, we, we do chant a certain prayers. But to me, the most meaningful prayer, which is where my life got changed, is Asato Ma Satgamaya. O consciousness, O God, O divine power, O supreme intelligence, please lead me from darkness, from the unreal to the real, from this perceived reality, this phenomenal reality, to the real. to the actual reality, the actual truth about this universal consciousness. Remove this darkness of ignorance from my life and bring me the light of understanding, this knowledge, this wisdom. Bring me this knowledge. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. So that I can transcend this whole concept of birth and death, and I can become that immortal, that ever pervading, that ever present, supreme intelligence, supreme consciousness, this one energetic reality. This is our truth. And if you choose to, today, tonight, at this moment, if you choose to go deep within this understanding, you can to liberate yourself from this limited, miserable living life that we have, which keeps changing our moods from time to time, minute to minute, which keeps making us react to different places and different people at different times. You have the power, you should have the discrimination to end this nonsense that we have created in our lives. Okay, because it's all created by our mind, it's all a projection. So that's all that I had to say to you today. And as always, I love you all. You're amazing. And I'm just waiting for each one of you to awaken to this understanding and spread this joy to this entire universe. Because that is the only job we have at hand, is that once we understand that we are the bearers of this light, then we have to show the light to others. Because darkness has to be cleared. And testing times are ahead of us. So first, experience your truth and experience your light, and then let's go and help as many as we can. At least it'll be it's a uh, it's a life well lived to show light to others. Okay, so love you. Have a beautiful week ahead of you and a brilliant life. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.